Okay, RC tankers, been a long time since I made a video, probably almost 2 years, and there was a reason for that, and I'll get into all that. But this is going to be the next project. This is going to be a 1/6 scale Bergepanzer, and the reason this came about was you may remember that a couple of years ago I had come across a 1/6 scale Bergepanzer, and I was going to build that and you know, detail it and all that, but it turns out that one of the tracks had zinc rot, and it got to the point where I no longer have enough good links to make 2 complete sets of tracks, so the Bergepanzer is tucked away in a corner, and who knows what we're going to do with that. But about the same time I picked up this Panzer IV, and I got a really good deal on it, mainly because a lot of it is missing, and you wouldn't believe how much is missing. There was so much of it missing that I decided we're not even going to try to make a regular Panzer IV. What we're going to do is we're going to make one of these. I'm going to do a Bergepanzer IV in 1/6 scale. Now, I'm not going to do it like this one. This is a 1/35 scale kit that I picked up to act as a guide, as is this one right here. Now, that's how we're going to build it, with everything in its stowed position for travel. And then hopefully later, if I get ambitious, then I might try to make the crane and whatnot functional. So, but I've got 2 different 1/35 scale kits to act as guides, and then I think that's going to really help quite a bit. Going to see if we can get it on this radio, the Turnigy 9X. That's what the one I was going to use on the Bergepanzer. Now, this was missing a lot of stuff, and it was really bad timing was involved here too, because I picked this up. I got a hold of Dave at Armor Packs. This is it's a Spearhead Panzer IV, okay, and this is the manual for it. So I've got the manual and I've got the 2 Bergepanzers, or the kits, you know, and we'll see if we can get this converted. One of the cool things, I think, is that on the original tank, basically all they did was they popped the turret off and then they filled in the hole with wooden planks. So that's what we're going to do too. We're going to pop the turret off. I don't know what we'll do with it, but maybe someday we'll figure out something to do with it. And we're going to make it into a Bergepanzer. We'll put the we'll do wooden planks across with the wooden hatch. Pretty sure I got to get rid of the guard for the turret. I'll have to check the kits and see what's up with that. But since so much of it was missing, I got together with Dave at Armor Packs, and he's a really great guy. And he's still got all the molds for these, for the metal pieces, but not for the resin. So I was able to get quite a bit of the parts that I needed from him, and I had gotten them orders. Now, these 1/6 scale tanks, they just do not ship well. I've never had a tank that didn't take some damage, and I've seen some really bad things, like old Master Sergeant down in Kentucky bought that Sherman from Wisconsin, and UPS just did a number on that thing. I remember he sent a couple of the sprockets up here, and I put them in the press and straightened them out. But this one did take quite a bit of damage. I ended up having to replace both idlers, which we have. They're back there. You'll see them in a minute. I was lucky, and only 1 track link got broken. So Dave sent me a string of extra track links. I've got the one to replace the broken one, and I'll have enough for spares across the front of the tank, or you know, wherever else I might want to put them. And I've got this set up in my garage out here. This is actually the box that the Bergepanzer came on in, and this is a Lazy Susan under here. So I can, oops, gotta go the other way. So I can spin this around 360 degrees. And now you can see on this side, there's no track. The idler is broken. Fortunately, the sprockets didn't take any damage. That's the silver lining. This road wheel I've got off, it's right here. But the reason it's off is because this suspension arm is broken. So that's one of the things I got from Dave at Armor Packs, was I needed a couple of suspension arms. Most of that stuff, let's see if I can turn this so I can see it too. Okay, most of that stuff is right in here. In here I've got all the hubcaps for the road wheels, also for the sprockets and idlers. We've got the hubcaps, and here's for the return rollers. And then these are new suspension arms. I needed 2 of them, so he sent me those. And so I'll be able to make it all look like a Panzer IV. And he also sent me 2 new idlers, which we've got right here. And these, I'm not sure if they got bearings in them or what, but we'll check it out. I'm really, really tempted to put everything, bearings everywhere. But I think first I'm going to get it running, get it repaired, and get it running, and see what's going on. I want to have it, by the time the weather gets cold, it's the beginning of July right now, I think it's July 10th. By the time the weather gets cold, I want to be able to drive this thing in the house and then keep working on it there. And as a Panzer IV, it's not the biggest, you know, I mean, it's not like a King Tiger in 1/6 scale. Those things are just absolutely huge. But there was a lot of stuff that came with the kit that, you know, we'll be able to use. Like, we got a lot of tools, and there's radio antenna base, and the cleaning rods, and we get the pry bar and the crank start, and a shovel. So, you know, we'll use all this stuff. But this is going to be like the most shoestring budget that I've ever tried, because right after I ordered all that stuff from Dave, I had a wicked heart attack. I mean, I was bleeding internally. They had to give me a transfusion. I had an aortic aneurysm. They had to put 5 stents in my aorta. And sometime during that, you know, when it happened, I kind of totally lost track of a day and a half. There's 36 hours that I have little or no memory of. But sometime during that time, somehow I managed to mess up my back. I don't know if I fell or had a convulsion or, you know what, I have no idea. But my back is just now starting to get back to anything like normal. And it's been, for the last 2 years, I don't think I've had a single day without major pain. And it really, really put me in debt, like $35,000. My insurance was pretty crappy. The money I had to borrow to keep everything paid for until I could get back to work, it was a real mess, and I'm not even close to recovering financially. My friends say I should start a GoFundMe page. So if you're one of my, or used to be one of my regular viewers before I quit making videos, or if you're a subscriber or whatever, I really want to know what you think about this. I'm in a bad way. I wonder if I should open a GoFundMe page, or would that be like, you know, too much like begging? I mean, would it be legitimate to ask for a little help with a major heart attack, or like I said, would I just be just another beggar? Which I don't want to don't want that. So please, if you've got an opinion on that, please let me know. And if I do start a GoFundMe page, I'll come back here and add a link and maybe another video. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's where I've been for the last 2 years. I've been pretty much out of it due to physical problems, you know. But now I'm going to get started on this Panzer IV, on this Bergepanzer IV. But like I said, major shoestring budget. So, you know, if anybody's got any 1/6 scale Panzer IV parts that I might be able to use that you want to donate to the project, that'd be awesome. I think the biggest obstacle is going to be the photo etch. Fortunately, I don't need all 5 photo etch frets. Most of them are for the Scherzen, for the skirts. But I do need the photo etch for the tread plates and the fenders. I might be able to make my own tread plates. I'll have to see. I'll look more at the kits and see how those are working. And then I do need the photo etch engine covers, which are the covers for these 2 engine hatches. The way I understand it, they're just photo etch. Now, one thing that also, I got this with the kit, and I'm pretty sure it says Benedini right on it. I don't know if this is a TBS or what, but it's some kind of sound system, and it's got a 2 by 40 watt amplifier for it. So that'll probably be the sound system that we're going to use. I don't even know what voltage the Benedini takes yet, but we're going to run it on the 9X. I'm going to try and run it on a 3-cell. Let me show you why. It's got the motors that are in. I've got these guys Hetzer, okay, And you might remember that. That's the one that shoots 50 caliber paintballs. And I could never miss an opportunity to tell people that it shoots 50 caliber paintballs. But the motors in that, I didn't even try. They were just way too undersized. Everybody said that they had no power. So with that, I went to scooter motors and a chain drive. Okay, but with these motors, I think these just might work. I'm going to try them on 12 volts and see what happens. They're pretty much set up the same way as the Hetzer was before I converted it to chain drive, where you've got bevel gears on both sides. But I don't know. I think I've got a Sabertooth 2x32, and I'll use an IBU2 to get like my engine sounds and possibly some of the controls. Like on the Hetzer, I use the what would be traverse on the turret. I use that as traverse on the MG34, the remote MG34 that's mounted on top. And there's a bunch of other stuff from the IBU that I used in the Hetzer, and I'm going to do the same thing here. So, and some of the stuff I'll be able to make, like I need caps for the muffler, but I think I can do those on my lathe out of aluminum, and I should be fine there. And then, you know, a lot of other stuff will get made from scratch, and like I said, I'd really like to put bearings on everything over here except the sprockets, you know, because but I think that this would be a good candidate for bearings. None of the tires are yet glued on. I'll have to get another bottle of Loctite 410, and that's what I used on the Hetzer, and those tires are still holding just fine. But these wheels, they just got a brass bushing through them, and it's basically just screaming for me to get bearings for these. I've got to check things out and just, you know, let's not make any rash decisions here. But I did that with the Hetzer. I put bearings on all the road wheels, and I really benefited from that. That tank runs so smooth, and it's got so much power, and I set the endpoints on the throttle for the Hetzer at 50%, because it's just that ridiculously fast with those 350 watt scooter motors. But that's running on a 6S LiPo. I'm going to try this on a 3S, which means that I can run everything off the same battery. I can run the IBU and the Sabertooth for the drive. It can all run off of a single 3S battery, which I'll get a big one. I'll get like a 10,000 milliamp hours. Or if I don't think the 12 volts is giving me enough power at the motors, I'll use the batteries like I used in the Hetzer. That's a 6S, and I've still got one that I haven't even attached the XT90 connector to. So unless it went dead sitting on the shelf, I'll use that battery, and I'll keep you guys updated on this. I think it's going to be a good project. Let me know what you think about the whole GoFundMe thing, if I should try and get a little help to get me back to, you know, not being so much in debt. Now this is the track that's off, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but right there you can see that that link is broken, but I now have more spare links, so that'll be the first thing I want to do. I want to get it apart, get the suspension arms changed, get the road wheels back on, get the idlers changed, get the track back on it, and then I'll hook up the motors to. I'll probably just use the 2x32 Sabertooth at first and just hook up the motors and see how they run and see if I think they got enough power and all that happy, you know, horse feathers. But not even gonna mess with that right now because we're almost done. So let me know what you guys think about the project, about the GoFundMe, about the whole deal. And if anybody needs a 1/6 scale Panzer IV turret, I got one. And I think when I'm done with the project, I'll probably give away the static 1/35 scale Bergepanzers, or I'll have to see how much it costs to ship them to the UK. I'm sure Martin would probably, he's always designing stuff, he could probably use them. In fact, he's probably already got them, you know. But we'll see. So that's the next project, Bergepanzer IV, and it's going to, now you know why it's going to be such a shoestring budget, but we'll see what happens. So until I have more to update, we'll see you next time.